Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watcher stream. This is September 12th. How the heck are you doing? We have Kevin saying, "Hey, Mayo, everyone." Is that a meme I'm not on right now? I don't know. But
I think
hello,
he's just calling you white.
That you're not wrong. I am, in fact, the color of sour cream. How is everyone doing tonight? Adrian, how have you been over the last week?
Good. Real busy with work. Haven't really had time to do much else. Just watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy when I can.
Okay, some game show fever for Adrian right now.
No, we watch every night. Have for a long time.
Gotcha. Well, I've been quite all right over the last week. Nothing too crazy to report. But let's go ahead. We have some fun stories to get into today. I'm going to go ahead and lead it off with a big one. This one was pretty big. I saw this earlier this week. The WGA's lead negotiator says that deals with specific studios are not off the table. Now, this is huge, actually, because obviously they're dealing with the AMPTP, and that is the kind of collection of all the major studios. If they make deals with studios, not only will it tell us which studios are the ones that are in favor of the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild and want to work with them as soon as possible, but the more people sign on to do these deals, it will pressure the ones who are holding out to just get it done. Because, I mean, granted, like, let's say you go individual studios wise and you get, Paramount and Universal that sign deals, but then Disney and Warner Brothers and Netflix don't. They're not going to be able to go back into production, but Universal and Paramount will. So it's going to create this drive to make more content. So I think this is a good thing if they're potentially able to do it. Excuse me. But we have yet to see.
Yeah, I mean, just it being not off the table doesn't mean it's being like favored or even like pushed for. It's just saying that they're considering all avenues when approaching the situation. So I think it's a fair comment. I don't think it leans one way or the other, but I think it does surface kind of that threat almost that, hey, we might just go a specific route. So very, very interesting.
Yeah, and kind of similar to this, I think we touched on it last week, but a lot of major people are now starting to see their contracts being suspended with these big studios. We talked about Warner Brothers suspending like J.J. Abrams and other people last week. We got word this week that Dwayne Johnson's production company has been halted at Universal because it has reached the 100-day mark. I guess that's an important date milestone for these. Yeah, I mean, if they're able to do studios, that's going to get people jobs back faster. That's going to get things working again. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. In other news, The Little Mermaid is Disney Plus's most viewed premiere of all time, following suit with the live-action remakes and then them re-releasing on Disney Plus like a few months later. The Little Mermaid got the most traffic out of all of those historic ones that we've seen so far. So, big news actually for Disney Plus. Pretty kind of like, I don't know, I feel like an average streaming platform. Very niche products that most people use it for. Star Wars, maybe National Treasure, and Marvel. One of their original movies being big is pretty huge for them. So I'm glad to see that they're getting some traction there.
Yeah, what this means is I think there was a lot of hesitancy to go see the movie in theaters, and a lot of people were waiting for it to come to streaming, which I feel like we're going to see with Haunted Mansion as well, which we'll talk a little bit about in a minute.
Totally,
But it's good news. I mean, and it's the fact that it's getting the numbers, and I've been seeing, I was actually just talking to a coworker today who watched it over the weekend, and she said she really enjoyed it. And she wished she would have seen it in theaters. And it's like, well, it's hindsight's 2020. So
I also think it's interesting because a lot of people feel differently when you there's no paywall behind seeing it now, aside from like your Disney Plus subscription, which can make you enjoy things a lot more. Once there is this kind of weird expectation when going to the theater that a lot of people do get, which is I paid for this, so it's got to be at a certain caliber. Whereas sitting at home on the couch watching The Little Mermaid is probably a very different experience for you, and it might heighten it. So I think, I'm glad it's doing well, and I can see why. So I haven't seen it personally. It is on the list of things to check out.
Yeah, I'll actually most likely be checking it out this week, and we'll hopefully see it reviewed next week. So,
nice.
Speaking of nothing in particular, The Strangers, the popular horror film from 2008 or 2006, I believe, and got a not so good sequel. Apparently, The Strangers is being rebooted into a trilogy, which is interesting because you're seeing a lot of things being rebooted into trilogy specifically right now. We saw that with the Halloween movies. We're seeing now with the Exorcist films. And even like Scream getting a new trilogy, getting 5, 6, and then 7, which is coming out. I'm super excited for this. I think the first Strangers is much different than any other modern horror film because, again, it's not jump scares. It's the kind of horror that I find scary. So I'm down to seeing more of that, and hopefully they don't take the cheap route of just going for jump scares and typical, teenager making them jump horror.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I think I'm excited for the series to get more attention. I'm not stoked off the trilogy aspect. I've gone on record saying I feel like that's cash grabby. Unless it's a giant textbook like Dune, right? Or even you're doing something like groundbreaking like Spider-Verse movies. I don't know that you need to drag a story out or commit to a trilogy right away. If 3 movies end up coming out, that's cool. I just don't get the whole point of let's lock in 3 movies right now. I feel like that's just jumping the gun and a recipe for disaster. But I'm excited. Like you said, I love The Strangers. The first one is really, really good. And I hope that these are also good. I feel like I'm a little nervous, though.
Yeah, definitely. It depends on who's involved.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, Beetlejuice 2 was 99% done filming before the strikes. So this is yet another film that has been delayed and the people are robbed of in just the wee hours before the strike happened. This one could have basically been done with all acting and all of that and been in post-production, which is lightly affected but not as heavily. This could have still been on its way and seen a slower delay. This is probably going to be a year at minimum. The fact they haven't even finished filming and they've got to get all that back together. Or worst case, could end up just never seeing the light of day if things just don't work out once everything's resolved.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a film that I'm too particularly excited about. I've seen the original, not really, falling head over heels for a Beetlejuice 2. But I think that the fact that it was 99% done, it's like they couldn't just take an extra day, to get it done. I don't know. But, I mean, hey, hopefully the strikes end and they can finish that.
But also, not only that, I mean, there's movies that are 100% done that we have never seen. There are completely filmed versions of films and just completely original properties that never come out because last minute studios decide, you know what, we don't want to go through the marketing budget and we're just going to cancel it. And those are never exist. And I would love to see a list. I'm sure it exists of movies that have never come out, but that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time we don't know what they are, but
someone does.
One of the biggest examples recently, obviously, was Batgirl, which, from all intents and purposes, sounds like it was a lot better than Flash was. So yeah, I don't know.
Big oof.
Speaking of good things, I guess, The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki's latest animated film, had its premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. It actually opened up the festival and is getting some pretty darn good reviews.
People are saying it's gorgeous.
Honestly, probably one of the last hand-animated films we're going to get for a very long time. Hopefully we see a return to it. But there are rumors that it is actually not going to be his last movie and that he has put forward some ideas to Studio Ghibli for a next movie. So
watch it just be not animated. It's just an insanely different film.
Just live action, it's actually, you have to have virtual reality to watch it.
It's a YouTube sketch comedy group that he suddenly starts.
This just in, Miyazaki working with Auntie Donna.
Yeah.
That would be nuts. But very excited to see this movie. As we'll talk about in a little bit, we did get the trailer this week, and I'm
hoping, just again, I'm on here on record. I'm a collector of things, so I'm hoping that once this comes out, we do get a bookended collection of the Miyazaki era. I think that could be amazing with all of the films and light cases. I would hop on that quickly. And then circling back to the Disney Plus theme, Haunted Mansion is hitting Disney Plus on October 4th. If you didn't get a chance or didn't want to go see it in theaters, but still have a desire to check it out, you can go ahead and catch that this October. I think we're going to see the same situation. I think it's probably going to be pretty streamed. I know I wasn't that into going to the theater to see it by any means, but hey, like we said, if it's at home, it's a little easier just to throw on and see how it is.
Yeah, and it's going to be the perfect movie for Halloween time. So, I mean, hey, Very excited to actually watch that. I wanted to go see it in theaters and didn't get the chance to, so hopefully we'll get the chance to here on October 4th. Keeping it on the same subject, Elemental is hitting Disney Plus tomorrow. So for anyone who is curious to watch Elemental, has not seen it yet, which apparently rebounded at the box office and actually did better than people were expecting, comes out tomorrow. So looking forward to that, definitely. I've been hearing some pretty decent things about the movie, actually. So
yeah, I was surprised to see this rebound. That one, I mean, we kind of chatted about it while it was happening, but just really fascinating that it didn't start off well. Usually Disney and Pixar films like that, like launch really heavy and fall off. So really interesting to see it circle back. And yeah, this is one I'll definitely check out. I was interested, just not enough to go see it in theaters, unfortunately. So this is one that I pay a subscription for. So
yeah,
that's what I'll be checking out. And then we also do have a confirmed runtime for Five Nights at Freddy's film. It is exactly 1 hour and 50 minutes. So on the shorter end of movies that we're getting nowadays. Had you looked at this like 10 years ago, this would be long. But nowadays, it's just like an hour shorter than most films that we get,
honestly,
which I'm excited about.
Honestly, it's kind of longer than most horror films. I feel like most horror films now are like an hour 30, maybe an hour 25.
Then horror films, yeah, definitely. It's on the longer side.
Definitely not the rumored 3 hours that we were hearing before. So
that's Freddy's cut.
Nice.
That's what we'll get. We'll get that later.
I did actually find out, though, that we're going to be going to, well, you're not going to be coming down this year, but we are going to Halloween Horror Nights again with our good friend Nadia over at Horror and More, Kevin, the co-host of Movie Club, and another channel called Fans of Something. And there they actually have a Blumhouse called Behind the Scream event. And you can actually see the full costumes for the Five Nights at Freddy's
that's great
animatronics. So I'll have to take some pictures when we go. Because
I don't know if you'll be allowed to.
No, there's footage already of the inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Staying on the horror subject, because we are in spooky season, The Exorcist is going to be heading back into theaters for its 50th anniversary. And if you have not seen this classic horror film, probably going to be the best way to see it. I'm definitely probably going to schedule time to go and see it in theaters.
I'm also going to try to go see this, yeah.
Yeah, especially before the new one comes out. Kind of get a refresher. I actually don't own this movie, so it'd be nice to see it in theaters.
Nice. And then last but not least, The Crow remake is set to hit theaters in 2024.
I forgot to actually put that on our banners.
That's it. It's just going to, the banner's about to say what I said. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Yeah, this is obviously the remake of the film starring Brandon Lee, where he famously passed away from being shot by a blank. I think it's Bill Skarsgård who's showing up in this one.
Very cool.
But yeah, I mean, I knew it was filming, but I actually didn't know they were actually still going to release it. So, hey, We're going to be getting it in 2024. But that's going to be it for the news this week. Not too much going on. Let's go ahead and jump in here for some comments. Cassidy, we are game show girls in this house.
We are.
Yeah, you got some game show going on. Siren Man Ariel for the win. Always.
Thanks, Steve. Welcome.
Is that the first time Steve's been on the live stream before? Welcome,
I believe
Steve.
so, yeah.
Horror and More, our good friend Nadia. What up? Just in time for the horror news. We had a lot of it this week.
You could sense it. You could sense it. You made it just in time.
I'm interested to see what you have to say about No One Will Save You, I think, is the alien horror movie we talked about last week.
Yeah, I'm stoked
to hear
for
what you have
that.
to say. Yeah. Cassidy, dang, they were just shy of saying Beetlejuice 100 times. They missed out.
When that happens, he comes into your bed and gives you a wet willy.
At that point, yeah. That's just so specific. I don't know why it's a wet willy.
I say it 100 times before every night because I can't sleep without his wet willy. I can't sleep without Beetlejuice's wet willy.
Usually it takes him a while to appear, but I wake up in the morning with my ears feeling different. Anyhow, speaking of feeling different, we got some good trailers that came out this week, or some more trailers. Obviously, I feel like the easy one to say here is going to be The Boy and the Heron.
That's my pick, but there are a couple other honorable mentions for sure. Pet Sematary Bloodlines, the sequel to that's looking pretty cool. We did finally get a trailer for Aquaman, which is exciting. I don't know how good it's going to be.
Trailer's coming on Friday.
Oh, so teaser.
Teaser, yeah.
Teaser, yeah. Sorry, teaser. And the Royal Hotel was interesting. The others I feel like kind of got lost for me. Spy Kids Armageddon. I know I said like 4 weeks ago that was my favorite trailer, but I don't know if I'm gonna stick to my word on that one.
I gotta be honest. I really dug the trailer for Totally Killer. I think that's gonna be a really fun movie. Basically, Back to the Future meets slasher movie, which
Super
I'm
fun. Yeah,
totally here for. I think the Bike Riders definitely looks like it's gonna be interesting, and it's cool that Thanksgiving is actually coming out, which was one of the movies that we got a fake preview for during the Grindhouse double feature that Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did. So yeah, that was it for the trailers. Nadia, Thanksgiving trailer seemed interesting. I think it looks like it's going to be pretty fun. I don't know. It's got an interesting cast, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. And our good friend Kevin, co-host of Movie Club here on the channel. Do you guys think the trailers show too much?
bad trailers.
Bad trailers too. Yeah, I think you get really good trailers. Specifically for me recently, I think that the second trailer for Oppenheimer is still one of the best trailers I've ever seen. And we get some really good ones, honestly. I do miss the days of teaser trailers though, like good teaser trailers.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Now are just trailers.
Yeah, like way back in the day, the Alien marketing or like Cloverfield, right? Those teasers were amazing. Yeah. I think that another good example of good trailers right now is The Creator, the new Sony Pictures sci-fi movie. I feel like you just want to give people an idea of what you're going to be covering in the movie, but you don't need to show everyone the crux of your film. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And honestly, it deters me from going to see a film. If I watch the trailer and I'm like, oh, I know what happens immediately, then there's not really a need to see it. I think what a lot of people could benefit more from in terms of trailer creation is show more landscape shots, like show off your movie a little more than just showing the only interesting parts you have, which are the plot. Like, if that's all you have, then your movie probably needs a little bit of work. So I tend to like trailers that show less.
Same here. It depends on what the movie's about. If it's obviously something that we don't know anything about, like it's a new story, a new world, a Marvel movie, whatever, show less. But like when it comes to Oppenheimer, like we know how that story ends, so like you can do a little bit more creative.
Well said. Trailer. Yeah, definitely. You can be a little more custom with it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it depends from movie to movie. I think not all trailers show too much. Nadia, it hypes me up more the more I see in trailers. Interesting. So you definitely like theatrical trailers instead of teaser trailers. Those are usually the ones that are like 2.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay. And The Creator looks great. Creator looks fantastic.
I know. Catch me in my seat opening night.
Hopefully they change the shot that was in that trailer that they used the actual Beirut explosion for.
What?
Did you see that?
They did not use the actual Beirut.
They used actual footage of the Beirut explosion and superimposed like the sci-fi buildings on top of the existing ones to make it look like an actual nuclear blast. It was a huge controversy. They covered it on Corridor Crew and everything.
That's crazy, and I'm in. Because whoever signed off on that trailer has some cojones.
Alrighty, well that's it for the comments after our trailers. Let's go ahead and we're going to dive into the films that I watched over the last week. One of my favorite parts of the show. And up first, rewatched the South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut film, giving it an 84 out of 100. I said, while the humor isn't as refined and honed as later seasons, the film is still a massive amount of fun and is genuinely funny. Lots of great songs and memorable moments fuel the characters of the hit show to fill an entire film's runtime. Its message of censorship still rings true and has aged rather well. Really enjoyed this movie. And then I went on a little bit of a spree and caught up on reviewing some of these movies. So John Wick was first, giving it an 88. A solid starting point that has incredible action and a great performance from Keanu Reeves. Its antagonists aren't particularly interesting, but the film makes up for it with a world teeming with possibility. Giving that an 88, and that led into John Wick Chapter 2, which got a 90. More incredible cinematography and action permeate through Chapter 2, while also expanding upon its brilliant world. As the world grows, so too does my admiration for it. And then John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum was watched after that. Also a 90 out of 100. I love the stakes, the film's looks and feel, and the pure adrenaline offered from start to finish. It's a wonderful ride, even though its ending does leave a little bit to be desired, in my opinion. And finally, watched a little-known British animated movie called When the Wind Blows from 1986, giving it an 85 out of 100. Superbly animated and incredibly heartfelt, When the Wind Blows is a devastatingly intimate look at life after the bomb and how different people react. It's a brilliant piece of work that's let down by a little bit of inconsistent pacing. It's definitely an interesting film that not a lot of people have heard about, and the whole thing is on YouTube if you want to watch it. So that is it for all the films that I reviewed this week, except for the Wheel of Fate films, which we'll have coming up momentarily. But yeah,
nice.
No ending to that segment there.
Thing that makes me so mad every time is that they call John Wick 3. It has like a separate title with Parabellum.
Yeah, it's the only one.
It's really gonna irk me in collector's sets. Like, there's just no way you can make that fit properly.
Yeah. Kevin, are you guys excited for the Continental TV show? Yes and no. I think it looks a little cheap, like design-wise and shot-wise, but I think it's going to be interesting, so I'm excited to check it out. You?
I agree with that. I'm very excited for Ballerina. I feel like that's going to be very good. The TV show, I don't know. Every time we get a TV show of something, I feel like except Jack Reacher has been pretty like not very right-homeable. But so I'm not super stoked on any of that kind of like transition stuff. But we'll see. Sure. Could blow me away.
Our friend Jose, I think John Wick 1 was the best and John Wick 2 was the weakest. I disagree. I think John Wick 1 is still a very good movie. It's just probably the weakest of the two because it does the least to expand its world. Because I feel like the world and the characters in it are one of the best parts, if not the best part of the John Wick films. So
I do think it has a lot of the most iconic lines that people quote from the whole franchise, though.
Sure, yeah, but I think as the films went on, they got better looking, they got better, more wide in their scope, and I feel like they had better supporting cast as well as they went on. That's just me personally.
John Wick is the man you sent to kill the boogeyman.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Yeah, that's enough about what Garrett did watch. A lot of people like to go to the theater on the weekend, so let's go ahead and cover what's coming out this weekend. A movie you can catch me absolutely finding time to go see is A Haunting in Venice. In post-World War II Venice, Perrault, now retired and living in his own exile, reluctantly attends a seance. But when one of the guests is murdered, it is up to the former detective to once again uncover the killer. I'm a huge fan of Murder on the Orient Express. I've read a bunch of the Agatha Christie books. While the books don't hold up as well, I'm a huge fan of the movies like Death on the Nile and all that. So this one I will definitely be in theaters for. This one comes out on the 15th to wide release. Then we have Route 60, The Biblical Highway. I know Garrett is really interested in this one. This one comes out on the 18th to limited release, so you will have to go find it. And there's actually no description on this Fathom event. So if you want to go, if The Biblical Highway sounds like your kind of movie, it's a Fathom event. It'll be out on the 18th. Then we also have Dumb Money coming out on multiple release days, but on the 15th to limited release. It does have a wide release later, but it may be playing near you a little bit earlier. Dumb Money is the ultimate David versus Goliath tale based on the insane true story of everyday people who flipped the script on Wall Street and got rich by turning GameStop, yes, the mall video game store, into the world's hottest commodity. Then we have The Inventor coming out on the 15th to limited release. Inventing flying contraptions, war machines, and studying cadavers, Leonardo da Vinci tackles the meaning of life itself with the help of French princess Marguerite de Navarre. That may sound like it's like a historical documentary film. This is an adventure animated family film, so I do want to set expectations for this one. That I think it's going to be a little more silly than it is like going to be a serious biopic or anything. Then we do have Rain Man re-release coming out on the 17th, opening to limited release. After a selfish LA yuppie learns his estranged father left a fortune to an autistic savant brother in Ohio that he didn't know existed, he absconds with his brother and sets out across the country, hoping to gain a larger inheritance. Obviously a super famous movie. The fact that it's re-releasing could be a great time to catch it if you haven't seen it. Then we have American Outlaws coming out on Friday to limited release. Based on the true story of the Dougherty gang, three siblings facing prison take matters into their own hands with a cross-country crime spree of epic proportions. And then last but not least, we have El Conde coming out to Netflix on Friday. Pablo Larraín's newest film is a satire that portrays a universe in which Augusto Pinocchio, a 250-year-old vampire who, tired of being remembered as a thief, decides to die. This one does seem like it's going to be pretty funny. I've seen a couple of the trailers for it. It looks really entertaining and definitely a great satire on just kind of a lot of different genres. So if you're into like comedy, fantasy, history-ish stuff, then check this one out. Comes out on Netflix. All you need is a subscription.
Alrighty. That is a lot of stuff coming out this weekend. I don't even know what Route 60, the biblical highway, is.
Let me see if I can find something on it while you're looking at it.
Joey, I am in Best Buy getting a new TV just so I can watch you beautiful boys in HD. Are you really? What TVs are you looking at? Because I will tell you, I used to work at Best Buy Home Theater. So let me know what you're looking at and what your budget is. I'll tell you the best one you can buy. Kevin, are those murder mysteries a good watch like Death of the Nile?
We differ on this.
No, I like Murder on the Orient Express. I don't think Death of the Nile was nearly as good. Yeah, I know you really liked it.
Yeah.
But Haunting in Venice looks like it's going to be pretty interesting, actually. Might be up Nadia's alley as well.
Yeah, I think it's. I think I just really like murder mysteries. I actually went through a period where I went through a lot of the Agatha Christie novels. I kind of said it while I was doing it, but they don't like hold up to me personally. The verbiage is pretty dated, but I love the movie adaptations. I feel like they're really fun, and the whole time you're trying to, because you know it's a whodunit. It's kind of like the Glass Onion thing, where like you know someone did it in the room, and you're trying to analyze everything. And I really have a good time with that.
Yeah, and I think that Kenneth Branagh really makes those movies because he's passionate about the character. He's also just really great as Hercule Poirot. So
yeah, oh my gosh, he's great.
Really, really enjoy it. But that's enough about the movies coming out this weekend. Let's talk about last weekend and what went ahead and won the box office. And that is going to be The Nun 2 took first place. Another good aspect for horror, or a good weekend for horror this year, bringing in $34.6 million. In second place, we had The Equalizer 3, bringing in $10.2 million on its second weekend. In third place, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, opening pretty weakly to $7.1 million. In fourth place, Jawan, which I think we talked about last week.
We did.
Actually making a debut on the charts at $6.6 million. And Barbie finally falling to something below second with $5.5 million, or $5.7 million, excuse me.
It was up against quite a few releases this weekend, so it does make sense.
And there's been quite a few since.
Yeah.
So definitely interesting that it's hung on for that long. Interesting for My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, just because I feel like everyone I've talked to that liked the first one was like, we don't need a third one. And I think that's just like the general
conceit. That doesn't mean they won't go see it though, just because we didn't need it.
At least the people I talked to didn't seem like they were interested. So
yeah.
But that is it for the movies from last week. But that sounds like it's a change in tone. Maybe it was fate that changed the music. But if you know what that music means, it is time for the Wheel of Fate. Go ahead and get in your submissions for what movies you want me to watch this week and review. Because you guys have a lot of interesting picks. You've had some good ones, quite a few not so good ones. But that is the whole point. Pick something you want me to watch. It can be bad, good, whatever you want. Go ahead and throw it in the comment section now, and Adrian will get those added. I feel like this music is a little loud. Go ahead and turn that down just a little bit. Alrighty. So last week, the movies that were selected included the first film here, which was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates from 2016. Ended up giving it a 54 out of 100. I said it's a funny time with a good cast, but there's a point where I feel like the jokes go a little too far. Not in content, but in how we're just supposed to believe that it could happen in real life. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. However, it did get quite a few laughs out of me, and so it earns points for that. And I think the cast was great in this movie. So better than a lot of other modern comedies, but not really breaking the mold either. And then also had Collateral, which was recommended last week. A supremely enjoyable thriller from beginning to end with great performances from Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. Its slower moments are just as riveting as the action-oriented ones. The dialogue is well written, and there's fantastic chemistry between the two leads. However, I do feel like it lacks that X factor, that little thing that's going to make me come back and watch it again. It's one of those movies that I'm glad I watched it one time, but I don't necessarily think that I need to see it again. So, but those were the comments for last week. Looks like Adrian's hard at crunching those numbers.
Normally I'm off screen for this part, but here we are.
But here you are. Just making sure we didn't get any comments on that. Nope. Okay. Yeah, really interested to see what if Joey's actually at Best Buy. I mean, again, if you can hear us, Joey, do not buy Samsung TVs. LG or Sony are the way to go. That's my biggest piece of advice. Get OLED if you can. Looks like we've had quite a few comments.
Yes, we have. The wheel is large. We'll go ahead and leave it open for another 10 seconds or so. If you have any last minute suggestions,
please get those in as soon as you can.
We'll wrap it up. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Oh, one last entry. You made it in. I'm closing it after that one.
Go ahead, get those in.
All right. Let me know if it is popping up for everyone.
It's
okay.
Popping up. No more submissions.
All right.
We're cutting it off. Let's go ahead and see what we get.
All right, I'm gonna shuffle everything here. Let me make it normal size. All right, and we're shuffling, and we are spinning.
There we go.
I do want us to give Cassidy a shout out for the Rose Byrne collection of all of her suggestions. And
Fast mentioned last week, and it finally gets added.
So excited for you to watch that one.
I am very excited to watch it too. I've been looking forward to watching that for quite a while.
All right, and we got one more going here. Spin the wheel.
What is the last one?
Good Morning Vietnam.
Had me fooled. I thought it was going to be adult beginners.
I don't think you can say that, Garrett.
I added the ends. It was nothing crazy. Which movie was that again? I just completely forgot.
That was insane. Okay.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning.
Let's go ahead and look over into the comments. Nadia upset that she didn't get a pick. Hey, it happens.
Oh my God.
Kevin won! There we go. Speaking of, talked about him earlier, fans of something, glad to see you on the stream. Weird movie to recommend post September 11th. So I guess Kevin recommended 9/11?
Good movie.
Were you talking like World Trade Center or United 93? Because I don't think there's a movie just called 9/11. Unless
there was like a lot that came out in the following years.
It's true.
Turns out when you search 9/11, you have to also type movie in order to narrow it down.
You get put on a list. Yeah, you know. But awesome. So next week we have Ponyo and Good Morning Vietnam. Two great selections. Two movies that are very highly regarded. So very excited to see.
It's a Mark Wahlberg movie, I believe.
There is. Charlie Sheen is in it?
9/11, yeah. Whoopi Goldberg.
I see. There's two. Okay, I see it. That's okay. I didn't know that existed. Good to know. Alrighty. Well, that's interesting. You learn something new every day. Watched it yesterday. Okay. Awesome. Kevin, you said it was good, right? Well, we'll let him figure it out. Make sure you go ahead and get those comments in. Anything you want to ask us, comments, questions, concerns, criticisms before we kind of jump off. Did not like it. Interesting. All right. Well, that gives me no hope for that movie, but hey, maybe we'll watch it in the future. Next September 11th, we'll watch it. But that is going to be it for the main part of the show. So, Adrian, what have you been watching? What have you been playing over the last week? What have you been kind of doing? Anything? I mean, you talked about game shows earlier in the...
Yeah, I haven't been watching too much. I did kind of randomly, I think it came out a few weeks ago, but downloaded Sea of Stars on Game Pass. The new kind of, it's like a old retro styled game, but very modern, like mechanics. And I was like, I'll dabble in it for 20 minutes. It's free. Ended up sinking like 2 hours into it right off the bat. Then went to Morgan Hill for the weekend to visit my hometown. And I was like, I want to keep playing this. Found out it's on Switch. Totally feels like a Switch game. So I've re-downloaded it. And now I'm playing it on Switch, and I paid for it because I liked it so much. So if you're into those like turn-based JRPG, old school Final Fantasy games, Sea of Stars is really, really good.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I've heard the title before, but I didn't know what it was. So
I think it just came out. Yeah,
I thought it was a recent one. Yeah. Speaking of stars, my entire life outside of work and watching movies has been Starfield, because, in my personal opinion, it's in my top 5 games of all time. I think it is a through and through masterpiece, and I've very much been enjoying it. But that's my opinion. So I know games are very subjective, even more subjective than movies, I would say. Everyone has a different thing they like to get out of a video game. But totally. Outside of that, I think I talked about it last week, but I did go and see Book of Mormon this last weekend, the musical production from the creators of South Park. It's my second time seeing it. Absolutely love it. I don't watch a lot of stage musicals, but it is one of my favorites. And finally, I believe after last week, finally started watching Evangelion. And I am a little over halfway through the season right now, or through the series, before I get into the movies and stuff. So no, I'm not gonna share any opinions on it yet. I want to get like the whole thing out of the way. But all I can say is, like, the first time I started watching it, I wanted to watch just like 1 or 2 episodes, and ended up watching the entire first disc. So it's fair to say that I'm hooked. But the only thing else I do want to talk about, because we don't really talk about TV shows much on here, like new ones coming out or anything. We just got the first trailer for The Fall of the House of Usher today, and that looks incredible. Yeah. Very much excited for that. I love a lot of Mike Flanagan's work. So, alrighty.
Speaking of, all right, I mean, I think it is the same director for that TV show as Haunting of Bly Manor and Haunting on Hill House.
Yes, and Midnight Mass.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, very much so. A lot of the same cast members too. Which, hey, more things with Rahul Kohli is going to be fine with me. Getting in some comments, Kevin, Adrian, how are the kitties? Oh,
they're so good. One of them's getting real big, and the other one seems to be shrinking. I don't know how, but they're it's crazy being the same breed and how different they're growing up to be. But they're the best. If not for the exception of the 5 a.m., let's slam all the cabinets because we want to get in them.
we want to have fun. We want to get into these cabinets. No, that's glad to hear. They're very sweet every time they're on camera. Nadia, can't take Charlie seriously as an actor ever since Scary Movie 5. I don't think anyone's been able to take him seriously as an actor for quite a long time, but
it's the Tiger's benchmark. When you become that powerful, the trade-off with the devil was that you can't be liked anymore, and he chose the deal.
And then 2.5 Men was watched enough in my house, kind of passively, that I was just like, oh, yeah, same. Yeah, I mean, I think it was before that for me personally, but I get it. Kevin's asking, did you start playing Starfield, Adrian?
I didn't, no. And honestly, it's not like I'm avoiding it, but I feel like I'm just going to be a late adopter. Like the way that my brain is thinking about it, I don't know, like there's literally nothing holding me back from it, aside from maybe time, but like I've heard really good things. I've heard it's amazing. And it sounds like it's right up my alley. Just one of those things in life that I just haven't done yet. So I feel like I'll be a late downloader, but it is on my list of things that I do want to take a stab at and try it out. I do get pretty easily overwhelmed at games that are so open like that. Like I had a really hard time with The Outer Worlds and the second BioShock, like games that kind of have like that branching path dynamic, especially like Bethesda and Fallout games. They're really hit or miss for me. So we'll see, but I'm excited. Short answer, but no, I haven't.
I feel like of all those games, it's like the most up your alley. With I know how you like sci-fi like that.
Totally. So I'm just, I think it's just I'm a little. I think I've set my own expectations too high. That I'm a little like my brain is like maybe if you just don't play it, you won't be sad. So.
Or just play it in bursts. You know.
Like, just dabble. Yeah.
Eddie saying him trying to be emotional during the ending of the movie was cringy. Honestly, I'm guessing we're talking about Mr. Charlie Sheen. I could easily see it. Anyone that kind of came from a comedy role and trying to be serious, I mean, it usually works. Like Jim Carrey is a very good dramatic actor when he wants to be, but Charlie Sheen doesn't seem like something incredible. Cassidy, congrats on converting, Garrett.
You went to the Book of Mormon, you said.
Oh no, the show. No, not for me. Thank you. If you know anything about me personally, you know that that's the exact opposite path. Mazel Tov. That's also not related to the Book of Mormon. That's again like the exact opposite. Laughing about it. Charlie Sheen gives me big Quagmire energy. Yes.
I think it's the face shape as well as the personality. Like, I think it's a combination.
And honestly, wouldn't surprise me if he wore a Hawaiian shirt like Quagmire does. Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've seen him. Like, he always wore like bowling shirts on 2.5 Men, I think. So, yeah, real Quagmire energy. But alrighty, thanks for the comments, everyone. Make sure you go ahead and get any more if you have any more questions, comments, concerns, criticisms before we jump off for the night. But I'm trying to think of anything else that's going to be kind of coming up that's going to be worth a shot.
I know A24 did just release the Talk to Me hand for sale.
Yes.
And I almost did it, but I've been a real good boy lately, so I didn't buy the Talk to Me hand. I have enough stuff in the house. But it looks really cool.
It does look really cool. I saw it this morning and I was like, still need to see it, but you know, definitely that'd be something cool if I really enjoy the movie. So I just
movie is very good.
Yeah, I have yet to see it. Kevin, you're at 69 subs. Nice. Actually, I just checked on our YouTube page and we've hit 70. We've hit a nice round number. Congratulations, wow. Adrian. We've done it. We've hit 70.
30 away from the glizzy competition of your dreams.
Yeah, if you want to see the two of us just slamming back glizzies, you better get on that sub list. Yeah. Also, thank you everyone who had checked out the top 100 or the video that I made, the 150 films that remind me why I love film. It's our most viewed video ever. We're right around 630 views, which is mind blowing. So thank you for supporting that as much as you have. Cassie says, "Yeehaw! Almost glizzy o'clock. Almost 30 more people. We'll get there.
We probably should break out our YouTube channel. I was just looking at it we should have playlists for movie club, live streams, and your film stuff to break out the page more.
They usually are. I'm going to do probably some more breaking out of it. Movie club has its own playlist, but I know the live streams don't yet. So I definitely.
I mean, like the sections on our page.
Oh yeah, that's just going to take some time to get going. But well, awesome. Well, looks like it's starting to slow down. A little bit of a light week this week on news and other sorts of things. So honestly, we've been expecting this since the strikes went in place. It was going to happen. So
it's time to start a movie news program.
Yeah. So also, I guess it's very similar to what we talked about here, but I have begun renewed interest in getting my master's in film so that I can eventually teach it, which would be great. Teach it
right up your alley for sure.
Write textbooks and criticism and all that. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be an expense, but it'll be worth it.
There you go.
So, but
that's exciting.
Alrighty.
Congrats.
Yeah, we'll see if it ends up happening. I've talked a big game before, so
just the interest is cool. You got it.
I'm getting to go for it. You got this. Yes, I know several people have told me that they would already take a course that I would create. I've actually thought about what courses I would teach.
Number one, go.
Create. History, so American cinema would be first one. Second one would be film history. Third one would be genre. So, Eddie said, enjoyed the talk, guys. Have a great night. Have a great night, Eddie. And Haley, if you're also watching as well. Look forward to Halloween Horror Nights with you in a month. Can't wait. But yeah, just a handful of stuff. I don't know. Probably teach like the community college level, maybe high school. I don't know. We'll see. But saying good night. Woo! To both of us going back to school. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Congratulations, Nadia, also going back to school too.
Congratulations. Nice.
So, but awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Looks like the comments are starting to slow down a little bit, so we will kind of sign off here. Adrian, if anyone wants to follow us and kind of get some news and updates, where can they do that?
Real Watchers anywhere, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. If you're seeing us right now, go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, all that stuff on whichever platform you're on. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit the bell while you're subscribing. We do go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m., as well as Garrett has Movie Club with our other co-host, Kevin, where they review the IMDb Top 200 list one by one, and they go through the whole movie. And then Garrett also does a lot of really good movie video essays that he works on. And like he was just talking about, one of them got the most views that our channel has ever had on a single video. So they're very, very good. So make sure, again, you hit the bell so you get notified when those pop up. But otherwise, yeah, Real Watchers, ReelWatchers, anywhere you want to find us.
That is absolutely correct. This coming week on Friday, we'll have our next episode of Movie Club. I believe it's episode 7, maybe 8. I've lost count of my own show. And we'll be covering the Charlie Chaplin film Modern Times, which we actually covered back on the podcast and very much enjoyed. Have a really good conversation with Kevin about that coming up this week. And then the one coming after that is a mystery. All I will say is that it's a movie that I consider to be perfect. So
I do want to
real interesting conversation.
I do want to give a quick shout out to one of my favorite podcasts. Just had a side podcast be born, where an ex-Catholic and an Episcopalian?
Pescatarian are the people that eat fish.
What is it called?
Episcopalian,
yes. And an that review all of like the weird renaissance of like religious Christian films that have come out from PureFlix, and they called it the Christerian Collection. And it's really funny. The first one they did was God's Not Dead, and it's really entertaining to listen to. So whether you just have nothing to do, but try to find the Christerian Collection wherever your podcasts are available. It's very fun.
I'll have to check it out. That sounds really funny. Kevin says, bye, everyone. Have a great week. You too. It's like I'll be seeing you soon or something. Jose, is it truly perfect? Honestly, one of the few movies I can say is probably objectively perfect. That's just a teaser. You'll have to figure out what it is next week. And then Cassidy, LMAO, ex-pescatarian.
How funny, it's an ex-Catholic and an ex-pescatarian.
What would that be? Like, would the podcast be called Loaves and Fish or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. Catholic joke for any of you that grew up that way. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, here at 7 p.m. on YouTube and Twitch. And until then, keep your eyes on the screen. Have a good one.